is up? Fantasy Pros live stream. We're back again. Week 14, start sit. I am your host, Andrew Erickson. I'm on Twitter at Andrew Erickson _ on TikTok at Andrew Erickson _. I'm having a lot of fun on that platform. You should go follow me and check it out. Just putting out great content all the time, every single day. But that's not what you're here for. You're not here to hear me brag about my social media. You're here to get the start sit information you need for week 14 because next week in most leagues, in the best leagues, the leagues that are set up correctly, we have the fantasy football playoffs. Now, I really hope that no one's playing the playoffs this week because there are 4 teams on bye. Just makes it much more difficult to set your roster when you literally are missing players. I mean, if you had Jonathan Taylor, the best player in fantasy football, you literally don't even have him this week. So that would be a crime against humanity to start your fantasy football playoffs today. But they should be all next week. And so I'm here to break it down. If you are, winning in, you're looking ahead towards, a bye week. Let's say you're already locked up. Maybe you're just like laying back the next 2 weeks, being like, yeah, man, I'm not even worried about week 13, week 14, week 15. I'm looking at week 16. Hats off to you. Not literally, I'm gonna keep my hat on, but hats off to you for the great start. As always, we will start with the news and notes from around the league. Then we'll get into the listener or the viewer questions, I should say. And then I'll dive into my start sit throughout the show as well. But first, we need to do the main thing. Live giveaway. We're doing one this Sunday, December 12th, during the 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff live stream right here on the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com. One lucky subscriber will receive an autographed Daniel Jones New York Giants jersey. Daniel Jones, let's go. How do you enter? It's simple. Subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube before the 12 p.m. Eastern Sunday live stream. Ask a fantasy-related question in the YouTube chat during the show. That's it. We'll announce a winner at the end of the stream, so make sure you stick around to claim your prize. And also, we are still looking for the winner of last Sunday's autographed Michael Gallup jersey, Matt Howard. Where are you at, man? Matt, please get in touch with our customer support agents at mailbag@fantasypros.com with proof of your YouTube account and subscription to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. And we'll get that jersey shipped out to you. Again, the winner is Matt Howard. Congratulations. Please reach out to mailbag@fantasypros.com. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the news and notes. Dalvin Cook. All right, so I really did not think Dalvin Cook was going to play in this game, and now it's coming down to a game time decision. So, this really couldn't have worked out better. It's on a Thursday, so we're going to know, you're going to, at 7 o'clock, whenever the inactives come out, we're going to know. And I think it's pretty simple. You start Dalvin Cook. I don't think you overthink this. It's a short week. Why would they be playing him if he wasn't ready to go? It's not like a lower body injury. It's a shoulder injury. So, you're not worried about him not being explosive. It seems like it's like a pain tolerance thing as well. So again, we've seen Dalvin Cook come back from injuries and just to be the guy. Really only once this year it happened where he saw Alexander Madison kind of working a little bit as well. But I mean, they are on a short week, so we don't know. Maybe Madison is a little bit banged up from his heavy workload against the Detroit Lions. Just a little bit undisclosed. So maybe they will go back to Dalvin Cook. I mean, you could look at this as a positive. He's fresh. He didn't play last week, so he has fresh legs. So I would even spin it and look at it as a really optimistic thing. So you're definitely starting Dalvin Cook, and yeah, you're probably not starting Alexander Madison. Just doesn't make sense. Don't necessarily think that, okay, 50-50 split, here we go. If you don't have any other running backs in your team, then okay, I guess Alexander Madison makes sense. Obviously Dalvin Cook can get re-injured, something that could happen, but I'm not trying to start Alexander Madison if Dalvin Cook is active. We will obviously know before the game, but if you have him, you're starting him. I haven't updated my rankings yet because I just want to know if he's playing or not, and he's probably going to be a top 5 running back for me. Pittsburgh Steelers defense is not good against running backs. Do not let their name fool you. They have been terrible this year against running backs. So, yeah, fire up Dalvin Cook. J.D. McKissick participated in individual drills at Thursday's practice. So he's still in the concussion protocol. So it's still not a guarantee he's going to suit up. And really, we're not starting J.D. McKissick. It's really just about Antonio Gibson, because if he doesn't play, then we can at least feel even that much better about Gibson, in DFS or whatever, because that means even if, Washington football team falls behind, then Gibson is still going to be heavily involved. He's been heavily involved in the passing game regardless. 2 weeks ago in Seattle, he saw a ton of work in the passing game. So really, it makes you feel better at Gibson if McKissick doesn't play, but you're not really changing much. You're still not playing McKissick. You're starting Antonio Gibson as a fringe top 10 running back. Amari Cooper is going to be coming back this week and kind of being back to his full snap share again. He was on a pitch count the last time we saw him. That was reported that, so it wasn't really shocking. He did look good at least. He had made a nice 40-yard catch, which looked impressive. But besides that, he didn't really do that much in that game. You're still starting him, as a wide receiver too. It's a good match against the football team. I know Washington's defense has been better, but Mari Cooper is still a really solid play. I think that you're probably starting him in most cases. Again, it's really like coin flip between him and Michael Gallup. I mean, Gallup's been really good the last couple of weeks. He's 35 targets the last 4 games. Now, obviously, there's been like a lot of influx, like guys coming in and out of the lineup. Lamb missed some time. Cooper's obviously missed some time, but Gallup's been pretty solid. It's really been Dalton Schultz that is the guy you should be concerned about with all of these receivers healthy. I think that Gallup's okay. And if Gallup disappears, then at least we'll kind of know, all right, well, he kind of reverted back to a pumpkin. Let's kind of move away from our guy Amari or our guy Dalton Schultz. Tony Pollard is expected to play. They're hopeful he's going to play. This is so weird because it's like I'm not super high on Zeke, and Pollard's been averaging 10.5 touches per game, and I would assume that like does Zeke get more work because of that? Because Zeke was already getting like a bunch of work anyway. Like, I don't know really what this means for Zeke. I guess you make him feel better about it. It's like, I guess there won't be another running back that makes him look bad out there. I would assume that Corey Clement is the next running back there. I'm assuming that he'll probably work in a little bit. And it's not going to just all go to Zeke, especially because it's like they are like talking about like limiting him anyway. They've been pretty vocal about that. Zeke's also been already involved in the passing game a lot. Zeke gets the goal line touches, so it doesn't really change your vibe on Zeke. I mean, it's still a tough matchup, and I guess it just makes it so like I guess it hurts the Dallas offense in general. But yeah, so Tony Pollard, Chase Edmonds returned from as is designated to return from injured reserve. It looks like this means he's going to be probably playing Monday night. Take the under on James Conner is what I would do in the rushing yards because we're going to see his role not be as fruitful. Chase Edmonds was a really effective rusher when he was playing when healthy. He was involved in the passing game. So I think this kind of like knocks Connor a little bit out of RB1 territory. I don't assume that he just becomes, he's going to be the 3-down workhorse back that we've seen him over the last couple of weeks without Chase Edmonds. So yeah, it's a tough matchup as well for James Conner. I know I talked about that on the matchups show YouTube thing I did a couple days ago. Players to avoid. James Conner was on there at running back. Lamar Jackson said that Ravens head coach John Harbaugh said that implementing more up-tempo and no-huddle offense is definitely on the table for the team moving forward. That's just whatever we get, whatever it takes to get more fantasy points. Like Lamar Jackson, I looked this up earlier today, first in expected fantasy points over his last 3 games, dead last in fantasy points scored under expectation. So if Lamar's just doing what he should be doing, he should be the best quarterback in fantasy, but he's just not playing very well. These things tend to regress to the mean. We know Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback. It's not a hot take. He's just in a slump. I think he'll bounce back. He's going to bounce back eventually. So play him in DFS, start Lamar Jackson. I'm pretty sure I still have him. I think I'm at number 4. This always happens. Every time I'm like, all right, I have Lamar. I put Lamar in my rankings at number 1. He sucks. All right, I'm going to move him down. All right, back to number 1. Like, that's what happens. So I moved him down my rankings, so he'll probably finish number 1 this week because that's really how things go with Lamar. Elijah Mitchell underwent an MRI in his knee. There's also dealing with irritation. So this is from last night. Yeah, this is like not Elijah Mitchell, man. Like, man, this is the life of a 49ers running back. You just get absolutely destroyed. Your body, you'd sacrifice. It's so bad. Like Elijah Mitchell seems like he's been hurt every single week in some way, shape, or form. So I would make sure to add Jeff Wilson off your waiver wire. Add Michael Hasty. Wilson's dealing with an injury. Like, we don't know which one of these backs. Again, if they're both active, I would lean towards Jeff Wilson being the guy I would start. But he's also dealing with an injury too. So like, just I have Elijah Mitchell in a bunch of places, and basically what I'm doing is just like adding Jeff Wilson, adding Michael Hasty. Just like hold them on your roster just as much as you can to see how this plays out. If Elijah Mitchell gets ruled out, it seems like that's a very likely case here. So I would make sure that JaMychal Hasty and Jeff Wilson are not hanging out on your waiver wires. I think that's really it for the majority of news and notes. Nothing else except Dalvin Cook that we're really like pressing on for towards tonight. Daniel Carson, kickers matter. 4-year, $18.4 million contract signed through 2025. Daniel Carson has been my guy, my kicker in one of my leagues. He's been saving me week in and week out. So you'll love to see that. And Jalen Richard did not practice because of COVID. So there's no Kenyon Drake. There is potentially no Jalen Richard. So Josh Jacobs, friggin' 3-down bell cow Josh Jacobs. It only took 3 years to this finally happen. Dude had 9 targets last week. It's on. on like Donkey Kong, Josh Jacobs. I told him he's in my start sit column this week because I just want to highlight. Like you're gonna start Josh Jacobs anyway, but like I like to like highlight certain guys. Josh Jacobs was in there because dude is getting the stud workload and he's just not being appreciated enough. Like, man, I absolutely love to see it with Josh Jacobs. All right. That's it for the news and notes segment of this here live stream. Let's get into some of these start and sit questions before we get into my article here. All right. So let's dive in. Endgame, Zier, literally have the same question, Wilson or Hill. Okay, so Russell Wilson, Taysom Hill. I'm starting Taysom Hill. Like I don't know what else we need to see from him. He rushed for 100 yards against the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. Like, yeah, I get he threw 4 interceptions, but he was also playing with like a weird mallet finger, whatever they were calling it. He's had an entire week to practice with that in like that on his hand. So he's gonna run the ball anyway. They're playing the Jets, the league's worst run defense. So yeah, I think it's just super safe. Like there's an argument like there's no way the Saints beat the Jets without Taysom Hill having a good game. There's a very likely scenario where you can see the Seahawks beating the Texans and Russell Wilson is just like 2 touchdowns, 150 yards, whatever, he's fine because they just want to like pound the rock with Adrian Peterson or Rashad Penny or Alex Collins or one of these scrub running backs because Pete Carroll just loves to run the football. So yeah, I'm going with Taysom Hill. Andrew Kim. It's not saying Wilson's a bad play either. It's just I think Taysom Hill, like the rushing guys, like the rushing is the cheat code. Like that's why Jalen Hurts has been so good all year because he's doing, and this is what Taysom Hill's doing. So I really think it's pretty simple with that one. Um, Andrew Kim, Russell Gage, Osborne, or MBS PPR. I'm gonna go with Russell Gage here. Look, I just think that he's been getting the solid amount of work in that offense. He has a 22% target share over the last couple of weeks. And look, I get that Gage is a guy that we're not always like super excited to play. So like, yeah, 26% target share over the last 3 weeks, 2.41 yards per route run, 88% route participation, 16.3 fantasy points per game. But the important thing is with Gage, like we've seen him do it. Like this isn't we like if KJ Osborne like goes out there and like commands like huge target share, like this would be the first time he's done it. Like we don't know what we're gonna get. Like we could see more of D.D. Westbrook. We could see more 2-10 tight end sets. Chris Herndon, my guy from like last or like years ago. Like he could play more. So I get like people want to play Osborne, and I think that he's a fine wide receiver 3, but let's not, wish cast him into existence. Like he's a backup number 3 receiver that is going to number opportunity because of Adam Thielen's injury. Like he's not usually a number 2. Like we've only seen him go up against number 3 corners. Like now he's going to be facing a tougher competition. So yeah, Russell Gage is getting targets. Matt Ryan needs to trust him. So that's who I will go with. Just chasing the target, especially because it's a full point PPR league. Mike N play KJ Osborne or risk Keenan Allen. Man, look, the track record of this is not good. The thing with KJ, I guess my question would be for Mike N. I mean, if you picked up KJ Osborne, then I mean, you don't want to sit him on your bench because then you don't have anyone else to play. So I guess my question would be, who else would you add instead if you didn't have to play? So let's say you have to kind of like weigh the scenarios here. So if Keenan Allen doesn't play then and you miss out on playing KJ Osborne Thursday night, who's your backup then? Like if there's literally no one, okay, then you can't do that. Like if you're just going to be playing like legitimate guys that may not even play snaps, then you can't do that. I mean, the track record of guys playing with being tested positive for COVID has basically been every player that's been tested positive during the week has not played, except for TJ Watt. Like that's like the one exception. So I don't know if there's a chance maybe Allen plays. It's very complicated. So I mean, it sucks because the discrepancy is so wide between those two players that I would almost want to risk Keenan Allen, but I I would say risk Keenan Allen if your alternative to Osborne is not that much. Like if whoever you're gonna pick up, if you can't play Keenan Allen, if that's like the same guy as KJ Osborne, then okay, then do that. But if you think KJ Osborne, which I mean, I think that he's fine. If you think KJ Osborne is just by far and away the best play, and there's really no one else you could play if Keenan Allen doesn't go, then that's the move I would make. Hopefully that makes sense, Mike. And I tried to. It's not. This isn't really. There's a lot of gray area with that question, so I tried to explain it. So hopefully that can guide you in the right direction. Brandon Katz, taking chances on Cook tonight. Yep. Yeah, hit that at the top of the show, of the live stream. Yeah, you're playing Dalvin Cook. Like, don't care. Like, dude's stud. and the Steelers' run defense is terrible. It's a shoulder injury, not an ankle injury, not a hamstring, shoulder injury. So I think he'll be fine. High Society, Patty Muth or Conklin tonight. I believe I have Muth just ranked slightly ahead. Again, it's just more of like we've seen him. I think I later have him. Let me check the ranks. I don't want to. I like Conklin a lot. And I don't get why people have them on the same team. Like, I guess like if you've been riding that's the thing. Like, guys, I don't know why you need two tight ends. Maybe just people are rostering two tight ends. I don't know. I mean, like it seems like Freiermuth people have just been holding on to. Yeah, so I have Conklin one spot ahead. So I guess if you have both of them, I would go with Conklin. I think they're both players. I mean, you shouldn't have both the guys on your roster. You only need one tight end, but in deeper leagues, I can understand getting behind two tight ends. Rudy Martinez, I need a running back. I picked up Abdullah and Hasty, Taylor on bye. I've got Michelle and Henderson. Yeah, I think that's probably. I mean, that's a good group. That's the best crop of running backs you could probably have based on your situation. You obviously play Hasty if you find that Elijah Mitchell's not playing. You play Abdullah if Elijah Mitchell ends up playing. And then Michelle Henderson, you can kind of wait until you just gotta wait for news like on those guys. Like Henderson, like it seems like he's still farther away from playing, and Michelle might end up just taking over like this leading role. So I would just wait literally as long as possible to get the news and try to put Michelle in my flex or my RB2 spot. I don't mind like waiting down to the wire. I don't think it's different with Hasty. If he's like the clear bell cow, then okay, you play him. But like, I don't think that you're gonna regret, playing. I think you would regret more playing Abdullah and not waiting for Sony Michelle / Daryl Henderson. Santos, Rodriguez, better rest of season outlook. Tannehill or Wentz. Tannehill. Carson Wentz's schedule is terrible. It's really bad. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Tannehill. Miguel Perez, sit one. Cook, Madison, Zeke, Pollard. I'm gonna sit Pollard. That one's pretty easy. I get yeah. I mean, I guess if you have to sit one of those guys, yeah. I mean, I guess I'd probably rather hedge with Cook and Madison than hedge with Zeke and Pollard because Pollard might not even play. So yeah, I would probably do that. Dan H, Darnell Mooney, or KJ Osborne, full point PPR. Still gonna go Darnell Mooney. Look, the target share guys. I get like Osborne is fine. He's fine. Like, but he's not. Look, there were games where Adam Thielen was busting. Like, remember that. Like Adam Thielen, if he didn't find the end zone, he was a bust. So that's definitely in the range of outcomes for Osborne, who number one doesn't have the same kind of connection with Kirk Cousins in the end zone. Number one. So yeah, I think Osborne is a fine guy, but like I don't think you should be playing him over established players. Darnell Mooney is the alpha in Chicago's offense, even when Allen Robinson has played. So Aaron Rodgers or Taysom Hill. I believe that I have. I mean, I would probably say like I think I have Aaron Rodgers one spot. Nope, I got Taysom Hill one spot ahead. I think it's just a matter of floor versus ceiling. I think I like Hill more, but I mean, is Rodgers going to fail? Like probably not. Like he's probably the safer option of the two. I mean, he's not dealing with a finger, so. Again, if I need like massive points, I need like 30 points. I'm like a massive underdog. Okay, then I'd probably go Hill. But I mean, Rodgers, I mean, he's going to do fine. The Bears defense is not good. He's got all of his weapons, so he should dice it up. Catfish, Javonte Williams, or Darrell Henderson. I mean, Darrell Henderson, I don't even know if he's healthy or not. I don't know what his problem is, so I would go with Javonte. I would not wait for Darrell Henderson for Javonte Williams. Michael B, Lockett or KJ Osborne need upside. I mean, that's Tyler Lockett. Like that's upside just like in between the lines, man. Like Osborne, yeah, like he's gonna get targets, but Tyler Lockett, man, he's playing the Texans. They suck. They're the worst team against deep passes. Like that's his thing. Tyler Lockett and Russell Wilson just connecting on deep ball after deep ball. So Tyler Lockett would be my choice here. All right. So we're gonna get into the starts. So let's get those up here on the video screen. Let's see. What do we got going on for our starts? All right. Number one. So talked about him already. Taysom Hill, our guy. And this is why I'm high on him. So he was a quarterback 3 last week, finished with 25 fantasy points. Now I know a lot of it came on that Deontay Harris touchdown, but hey, give credit to Taysom Hill. He got the ball to his best playmaker. What do you think is going to happen when he throws the ball to Alvin Kamara against the Jets? Similar results, people. Similar results. Good things are going to happen. So I think that Taysom Hill, again, he's averaged 22 fantasy points per game in his last 5 starts, dating back to last season. He's a top 10 guy for me. Easily the best streaming quarterback off the waiver wire if he was still available. I wish I had picked him up because I had Jalen Hurts and I had Steph Heineke instead, which didn't work out nearly as well. So Yeah, I think Taysom Hill is just locked and loaded. I mean, Gardner Minshew was a top 10 quarterback last week against the Jets. Gardner freaking Minshew. So Taysom Hill, I think he's locked and loaded. Continue to play him as a starting quarterback. Cam Newton. So Cam Newton is probably my go-to waiver wire quarterback that's actually available on most waivers. The thing with Cam is, look, he's got a wide range of outcomes. We've seen him play 2 games as a starter this year, quarterback 5, quarterback 30. So it's a very wide range of how he could finish. So it's about your risk tolerance. So for example, I picked up Cam Newton in a league where I don't have Jonathan Taylor. Like Jonathan Taylor is my best player on that team. So if I need the upside with Cam, like I'm willing to take, you know, a bad performance from Cam just to get the 20-point plus performance. With Heineke, who I had originally, like I was like, yeah, I can probably get like 12, 15 points, but like if I really want to get 20, 25 points, like that's Cam. So Cam Newton, I think, is the upside play. But again, if you don't need it, if you feel like your roster is really, really strong, then go with a Heineke, go with a Kirk Cousins, go with those types of players who have safer floors, who are just kind of like better, have been more consistent this year. Because that's the Cam's not consistent. And this was him last year too, even with the Patriots. Like he would have massive blow up games and good matchups, terrible, absolutely atrocious games. Just a very wide range of outcomes for Cam Newton. So, I mean, the Falcons rank fourth in fantasy points per game allowed to quarterbacks over the last 4 weeks. I mean, their defense sucks. Like, if it was a different defense, I'd probably not recommend Cam, but Falcons are they're the worst. They are literally the worst defense in the NFL. So, maybe the Jets are, but yeah, Cam, I think he's still worth starting this week. Deontay Foreman. So this is kind of digging a little bit deeper into the running back pool. I know that people held on Deontay Foreman through the bye week. Same thing with Dontrell Hilliard. But I mean, this is the guy who saw the majority of work in the last time we saw them play. So he split snaps with Dontrell Hilliard, 50-50 when they played against the Patriots. Both players rushed for under 100 yards or over 100 yards, but it was Foreman that didn't necessarily have like this massive run that kind of buoys Hilliard's rushing production. He had a 68-yard touchdown run, which kind of inflated his total stats. He only saw 4 touches in the second half. Foreman saw 12. Foreman also had 16.7 expected fantasy points to Hilliard's 10.4. So, look, I feel pretty confident about saying Foreman's going to get 12 to 15 touches against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who rank third in rushing yards allowed running backs over the past 4 weeks. So, Titans are 9-point home favorites. It's all kind of just setting up well for them to establish the run with Foreman, who's the better profiles more as the actual early down ball carrier in between the tackles. It just seems like a good spot for Deontay Foreman to put up RB2 fantasy production. So I like him in this spot. Chase Claypool. So getting into some of the Thursday night guys. I like talking about some of these guys on this particular live stream because I know people have questions about them. So Claypool has been up and down. I mean, he's like he is like a boomer bust wide receiver. Like that's pretty much what he's been. That's kind of been his MO. We saw his snaps decrease last week. He actually played less than Ray McLeod, which is kind of concerning, but it's because he's been dealing with some like toe injury thing that he had a couple weeks back. Practiced in full the last 2 weeks, so I feel confident that he's healthy going into this game. I mean, the matchup is that. Like, this is why we have boomer bust wide receivers. Like, when they play in these type of matchups, this is where you need to start them. So Claypool, the Minnesota Vikings allowed the most fantasy points to wide receivers over the last 4 weeks, giving up explosive play after explosive play to opposing wide receivers. I just think that it makes way too much sense for Chase Claypool to have a blow up spot here. So I like him on Thursday night tonight. And then last but not least, Tyler Conklin, the recipient and topic of my latest TikTok. I love him this week. He's one of my favorite tight ends. I just talked about him over Fryermuth. I know I'm sure I actually didn't even pick him up in one league. I picked up Seals Jones. And I thought about it more. I was like, I gotta get Conklin. I need to get Conklin into my lineup. Look, he's an every down player. He saw season high 9 targets last week without Adam Thielen due to injury. Like that's the thing. Like I know people are playing Osborne, but it's like Conklin was the one that saw the biggest target jump. Like it was Tyler Conklin, not KJ Osborne, that saw the biggest jump in targets. So yeah, I think if he's still in your waiver wire, you got to scoop him up and play him this week. Pittsburgh runs a lot of cover 3, a zone coverage, so that often leans itself towards the tight end getting open underneath the zone. And Conklin has been really good against cover 3 this year. 137.5 pass rating generated and the second most receiving yards on the team when facing the scheme. So he's had more receiving yards than Adam Thielen. So hot take, Tyler Conklin has more receiving yards this week than KJ Osborne. Let's go. Top 10 tight end for me this week for week 14. So those are my 5 starts. Taysom Hill, Cam Newton, Deontay Foreman, Chase Claypool, and Tyler Conklin. All right. And after last week's waiver craziness, things have thankfully settled down before the final bye week. Whether you're still fighting for a playoff spot or preparing for postseason matchups, we've got you covered on our Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. We just uploaded my 10 players and matchups you need to avoid heading into week 14. So when you're finished with this stream, head over to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/fantasypros and watch a short video. And while you're at it, drop a like. So, yeah, that's a video that I have put together a few days back, week 14 matchups to avoid. So go check that out. Talking about some of those players already here. Yeah, and I'll hit on a little bit of them. But yeah, make sure you go check that out. Give that video a like. Let's head back to the starts and sits for the questions. Multiplayer, great name. Javonte Williams or Darrell Henderson? Javonte Williams. Yeah. I think that these are good questions, honestly, with Darrell Henderson. And it's helping me kind of like figure out, yeah, there are certain players you don't want to wait for. And I think Javonte, I would not want to miss out on his performance for Darrell Henderson. Aaron W. Hey, Andrew, need to win this week to make playoffs. Love it. Half point PPR, 2 running backs, 2 flex, Zeke Pollard, Deontay Foreman, Javonte, Keenan Allen if he plays. You need 2 running backs and 2 I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I think it's just really Pollard or Keenan Allen. So you play Keenan Allen if Pollard is, or you play Keenan Allen over Pollard if he's active, and if not, then you just play Pollard. So I think that's pretty clear cut. Drew Sorensen, Brandon Cooks, KJ Osborne, AJ Green, or MVS standard flex spot. I'll probably still go Brandon Cooks here. I don't love the matchup, but I mean, he's still the clear number 1 in his offense. I would go with some Brandon Cooks. William Knowles, Hubbard, Hunt, or Foreman, half point PPR. I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt here. I know that it was a rough outing for him last time he played the Baltimore Ravens, but he's come back from his injury. He wasn't playing a full snap share, and the Browns are so banged up at wide receiver. They just don't have a lot of receivers. They're talking about getting Hunt out more on the field at the same time as Chubb. So I think that needs more involved in the passing game. And Kareem Hunt's been like an RB2 basically before he got hurt. So I think Hunt makes a lot of sense. Nick Loringer, who is better bench stash for the playoffs? Thanks for helping me clinch a spot. No problem. Samaje Perine or Khalil Herbert? Yeah, I guess I would probably go with, man, it's tough because both of those starting running backs are both kind of banged up right now. I think I actually prefer Herbert. And I think it's because of the schedule. I think I like the schedule better for the Bears running backs down the stretch. I know Montgomery's been getting a lot of love. And Herbert is better than Samaje Perine. Like we saw Herbert just get this awesome workload without Montgomery. Perine would probably lose out a little bit to like Chris Evans to an extent. So yeah, I'll go with Khalil Herbert. It's close though. Both those guys should be rostered. So if you're watching this, you have an extra Brown spot. Make sure Samaje Perine and Khalil Herbert are not on your waiver wire. Guru, should I use my waiver 1 spot, never resets, and pick up tight end Mike Gesicki, or should I save the waiver 1 for the playoffs? I mean, if you need a tight end, I mean, they're playing the Jets when they come back. So if you're like, hey, I need a tight end like ASAP, I would probably use it. But if you're fine at tight end, then I think that you should save it. Bring the rain. Half point PPR out of these 3. Who do I start? KJ Osborne, Russell Gage, or Michael Gallup? I'm going Michael Gallup. Like, he just has more upside than those other 2 guys. I think Gallup is still seeing a lot of targets in that offense. I know Cooper's coming back, but it's a good matchup with the football team. He's got Dak, so I'll go with Gallup. Will Dog, take a chance with Mike Williams or go with Claypool tonight? Yeah, just talked about the starts and sits. Yeah, this one sucks because obviously Mike Williams would be just like a smash if he plays, but I think Claypool, I like Claypool enough where I would take the risk. I'm potentially missing out on Mike Williams because I think Claypool will do a great job this week or tonight. So I'll go with Claypool. Andrew Webb, better start this week, Van Jefferson or Brandon Cooks? I like Van Jefferson. Like Van Jefferson has been really, really solid. I think that he is in a really good spot. Again, it's a good matchup against Arizona Cardinals. Shootout, I should say. Not necessarily a good matchup like receiver points against, but Van Jefferson is a heavily involved in the offense. I know I'm flexing him in one of my leagues. It's actually nice to have him and Sony Michel to kind of figure out who do I play. But yeah, I think Van Jefferson is the guy I would go there. All right, let's go into the sits now. My 5 sits for this week. Let's get these up on the screen. Let's see. What do we got here? My first sit. Oh, Derek Carr, man. Derek Carr is not in a good spot this week. I'm concerned about Derek Carr because I don't think that I know he's like leads the league in passing yards or what have you, but it's so inflated by like so many games he had at the beginning of the season with Ruggs. Like Ruggs being gone actually has made like a significant difference in this offense. The Chiefs defense is also a lot better since the start of the season. They're PFF's 4th best defense since week 7. They've allowed the 5th fewest fantasy points per game to quarterbacks in the last 4 weeks. So I don't like Derek Carr. I feel like if you play Derek Carr hoping he's going to get you to the fantasy playoffs, I feel like you're going to be like let down. You're going to be like, man, like that did not work out for me. So Carr is PFF's 28th highest graded quarterback over that span. So basically since the team's bye week, 15.7 fantasy points per game, good for quarterback 23 over that time period. I'm going under on Carr's 265.5 passing yards prop on prizepicks.com. Next running back that I want to sit, Tevin Coleman. Look, Tevin Coleman, man, give him credit. He has been impressive. The last couple of weeks, he's forced 8 missed tackles, 74.8 PFF rushing grade, 16 touches, but he's playing the Saints. Like last week, the last 2 weeks, he's played Eagles and Texans, just 2 terrible run defenses. Not the case this year, or not the case this week. Saints defense, number 2 PFF rushing grade and run defensive grade, I should say. First and fewest fantasy points allowed to running backs this season. So hard pass on Tevin Coleman, especially with him also in the concussion protocol. Brandon Cooks, wide receiver for the Houston Texans. Like I've been like backing Cooks all year long. Be like the targets are there, the volume's there, but it's like, man, like eventually you got to do something with them. He's just not. Like his target share is also decreased recent weeks, going from 24% to 18%. Target rate per route run, 22% to 16%. So he's just not getting targeted nearly at the highest rate. I feel like the Texans are trying to get more of their young players involved a little bit more. They're trying to see what they have. Nico Collins, Brevin Jordan, just these other guys. It doesn't really matter. Like Cooks is just, and he needs so much volume because it's so inefficient. Like he needs to get like 15 targets to really even get there for you. So that's really hasn't been happening. And the Seahawks defense on paper, we're always like, yeah, like Seahawks, they suck. No, they actually have not been that bad against wide receivers. They've allowed just 7 receiving touchdowns this season to wideouts, tied for second best in the NFL. Got Davis Mills on our center. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. I don't know. It's just terrible quarterback play. I just want to avoid. And Cooks, just, yeah, I just kind of want to look elsewhere and just play Brandon Cooks. Noah Fant, tight end for Denver Broncos. Like, just no, guys. Like, Noah Fant, look, when Albert Okwuegbunam is active, he just doesn't do anything. His tight end finishes with Alberto in the lineup, tight end 40, tight end 15, tight end 37, tight end 22. He has one top 15 finish. He has 0 tight end 12 finishes. And, I get the Lions, it's a good matchup, but it's like he's not getting targeted. He's just not seeing enough targets. He ranks outside the top 15 tight ends in both target rate and route participation over the last 4 weeks. And he's had plus matchups. He's played the Chiefs, Chargers, Eagles. All good matchups for tight ends. Diddly squat from Noah Fant. So out on Noah Fant this week. Rather play Conklin, rather play Freiermuth. Make sure you play those guys over Noah Fant. And then last but not least, Tyler Higbee. Again, another guy I would play Conklin over Higbee, play Freiermuth over Higbee. Look, Cardinals are one of the best teams against defending tight ends. 4th and fewest fantasy points allowed to the position. And Higbee's not been consistent whatsoever. I know he runs a lot of routes. I am the route run, prophet on Twitter. I tweet out about routes run a lot. That's one of the great things about working over at PFF. You get access to that data. We also get access to it with a premium subscription. It's not cultivating towards production. Last week he had 6 targets. When he played Arizona earlier in the year, 4 catches for 36 yards on 6 targets. With Odell Beckham Jr. having his snap share increase from last week, where he only played like less than 60% of the snaps, I just think it's just going to make it harder for Higbee to see targets in this offense. So I am out on Tyler Higbee, and that's going to wrap up the sits. But again, make sure after last week's craziness, things have thankfully settled down before the final bye week. Whether you're still fighting for a playoff spot or preparing for your postseason matchups, we've got you covered on our Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. We just uploaded my 10 players and matchups you need to avoid heading into week 14. So when you're finished with this stream, head over to your YouTube channel at youtube.com/fantasypros. Watch that short video, and while you're at it, drop a like. I spent a ton of time on that video putting it together for you guys, so I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments. Give me some feedback. Andrew, you're terrible. Like, what are you doing? It's like, Andrew, great calls. I know. I think I mentioned Kirk Cousins on there because I didn't like his matchup with the offensive line, defensive line. So we'll see. So if you see tonight when you're watching the game, Kirk Cousins under pressure all the time, let that be known that Andrew Erickson from PFF told you ahead of time. Like, hey, this is a matchup in the trenches that you don't like for Kirk Cousins. So we'll see if it plays out. just look out for TJ Watt. Make sure you're starting TJ Watt in your IDP leagues. I actually benched TJ Watt in my IDP league because I thought he was out because of COVID, and he scored like 20 points. And I was like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? IDP, man. Like, those are the diehards. Those are the diehards out there. Love that. But enough IDP talk. Let's get back to the listener questions here, and then we will wrap up the week 14 stream. So thank you all for joining, and yeah, throw those questions in the chat if you got them. I'll get to all of them. Patrick, I have 3 first-round draft picks next year in the top 6. I took over Dynasty League, not Superflex. I have Burrow, Fields, AJ Brown, and both Patriots running backs. Who should I target? Wide receiver or running backs with these top picks? All right. So Dynasty League. So I have yet to do my, rookie. So I hope you're not looking for specific names because I have not done my research yet with those. That's something I do, kind of in December, late December, January. I kind of really catch up on all the rookies. Just I'm too invested in NFL. But based on, your quarterbacks are obviously all set. You have AJ Brown. He's in a good spot. Patriots running backs. That's a good spot. I would probably say just in a dynasty format, I like to target running backs. I know people will talk about, oh, you need, you want the longevity of the receiver position, but we're not as good as like figuring out who the good receivers are often. And the running backs, they're good out of the gates. Like that's when they have their most value. Like that's when they're going to score you the most fantasy points. So Najee Harris, like those types of players. So I'd probably go with running backs, just because Damian Harris and Ramondre, if they're still like together, then it's like one of those things where you have 2 good running backs, so you have like no good running backs. So that's one potential issue with your running back. So I would go with the running back position. Brandon, and that's kind of something I did. I had my top running backs. I had Najee number 1, Javonte number 2, ETN number 3. For my rookie running backs this year. Brandon, France, start Kyler Murray or Taysom Hill versus the Jets D. Start Taysom Hill. Oh yeah. Oh my God, Taysom. No. Start Kyler Murray. Sorry. Start Kyler Murray. He runs just like Taysom Hill does, except he's actually a good passer. So Kyler Murray, easy shootout against the Rams, lock and loaded. Jonathan Rodriguez, Seahawks or Buccaneers defense. I think you can probably go with the Seahawks D. I think that Buccaneers is like a defense I like in like DFS because I think they're being underlooked, but I think Seattle's fine. Any Waller news? Not that I've known of. I know the last time we saw him was like day to day. Day to day is not good. No, day to day usually means like week to week. Week to week means like month to month. So, I'm like not super optimistic about Waller playing. So when people ask me like, do I play Conklin or Waller? I think you might as well just go with Conklin. Look, like we were optimistic about Hurts, and then he didn't play, and I missed out on Taysom Hill. So trying to learn from last week and not, be optimistic about injuries. I think that you should go into this week thinking you don't have Waller, honestly, and I would probably start Conklin over Waller. So if you're having that question, I think people have asked me that on Twitter. I need to like go in and actually like respond to my DMs or whatever. Never had it so good. What's up, Andrew? What's up, man? Full point or her, whatever. Full point PPR, 1 running back, Hubbard, Barkley, Michelle, 1 wide receiver, Hopkins, Metcalf, or Mike Williams. I just don't know what the Rams situation is right now, so I'm going to go with Barkley. And receiver, I'm going to go with DK Metcalf. Yeah, DK Metcalf. He's going to have a big game. I like it here. Again, this can change. I would start Mike Williams if we figure out that he's playing and Keenan Allen is not playing. So I'll keep that in mind. And then same thing, I would probably play Michelle over Barkley if we find out he's the guy and it's not Henderson. So a very loaded question with a lot of caveats. But unfortunately, that's what happens when you're answering start-sit questions on Thursday when the games are on Sunday. Michael B. Hill or Dak in half-point PPR. I'll still go with Dak here. I think Dak 1 spot ahead. It's a good match for him. I know the football team defense is better, but he's got all his weapons. And Dak Prescott's just one of those guys I don't like to sit. He's just a very good quarterback. Connor, I have Dak and Taysom Hill in the same format, and I'm probably going to start Dak. So should I? Maybe? Yeah, I'll start Dak. Connor Brennan. Standard League, Carr or Hill, Pitts or Moreau. Going with Hill and Pitts. Nick Moore, Taysom Hill, Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I'm going Taysom Hill. Like I talked about it, Kirk Cousins, I think he's in a good spot, but not great. No Thielen, no Christian Darrisaw. I think the pass rush can get to him from Pittsburgh, and I think it's going to cause some issues. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Taysom Hill. Raul Jimenez, Gallup or Deontay Foreman, flex PPR. I would probably still go with Foreman here. I think he's just going to get the workload. Gallup is a little bit more fringy just because I don't know what the targets are going to kind of shake out as. He could be fine, but if he doesn't catch a touchdown, I'm concerned. I like Foreman. Lewis, start Conklin or Freiermuth tonight. Who to keep rest of the season? Conklin. Conklin all the way. And then I'd probably say rest of the season. I mean, it's tough because it's really so matchup dependent. Like, I don't think Conklin has like a decent matchup next week as well, but Adam Thielen might be. I mean, Conklin you want because Adam Thielen's not playing. Like, that's why Conklin is so enticing. So if Thielen comes back, then I would rather have Fryermuth. So if I think that Adam Thielen's going to come back, then yeah. So it's a little bit tough. I would probably say Fryermuth rest of the season, but Conklin I want tonight. OG Sen guy. KJ Osborne replaced Claypool tonight. Yeah, Chase Claypool easily. Like, yep, easy for me. I've talked about Chase Claypool. He's a start for me. KJ Osborne was not on that list, so Chase Claypool. Maiha Lee, Deontay Johnson, or Tyreek Hill. My God, what kind of league are you in where you have to debate between these guys? Man, ugh. I love Deontay. And I hate benching. No, dude, he's on fire. Honestly, I'm playing Deontay Johnson. I'm pretty sure I have Tyreek Hill ranked ahead because I think that's just like what I have to do. But I've been backing Deontay so far all year long, and I think that that's who I want to go with. So Deontay Johnson, yeah, fire him up. Love to see it. Marley Marr, Jamison Crowder, or Kenny Galladay, full point PPR. Gross. Jamison Crowder. Saints are not good against slot receivers. Fifth most targets allowed to the position. Corey Davis is out. Elijah Moore's banged up. Yeah, Jameson Crowder. Kenny Galladay, man, like with Jake Fromm. Oh God, like maybe this will be a David Blau situation, but he couldn't do it down. He couldn't do it last. I mean, I went down this road last week with Galladay. I was like, Glennon can get in the ball. Then he got hurt. It's a mess. I'm so glad, like, so Galladay. I like Galladay like during like the summertime, but then like he started getting hurt. And I was like, all right, I got to keep moving him down. Got to keep moving him down. And I was like totally off of him by the time like we drafted season. So hopefully no one has Galladay because of me. At least not. I mean, I know I have him in a lot of like early best ball teams, but unfortunately all those teams just sucked anyway. So it doesn't really matter that I have Galladay. Dominic, what's up, Andrew? Half on PPR have Michelle and Henderson as well as Madison and Jeff Wilson. What would you do? Well, you're going to start Madison if Cook doesn't play, number one. And you're going to start Jeff Wilson if Elijah Mitchell doesn't play, number two. And then if everything else, you wait till you get news about Michelle and Henderson on Monday night. That's what I would do. Hopefully that makes sense. Jacob Glazer. Jay Glazer? Jacob Glazer. Half one PPR, Osborne, Crowder, Traquan Smith for wide receiver 3. I like Traquan. I do like Traquan Smith. Jets has a bad matchup, or a good matchup for him. And yeah, he's the number one there. He's the number one wide receiver for the Saints. No Deontay Harris. Claypool or Van Jefferson. Going Claypool. Just less competition for targets. Big play upside. The Vikings defense is just so atrocious. Arizona has a decent pass coverage defense. So I like Claypool. Derek C. Cousins in primetime or Cam Newton. I like how they specifically mention Cousins in primetime because he usually sucks in primetime. I would go with, let's see if I check my rankings. I think I have Cam ranked ahead. Yeah, I have Cam ranked ahead at 13, Kirk Cousins at 15. But it's a tolerance thing. Like when I talked about Cam as a start sit, like you need to really look at your roster and be like, all right, do I need a ton of upside to quarterback? Or am I willing to be like, all right, Cousins was fine, like whatever. I have a good roster. I'm gonna start Cousins. But if my roster is like a huge underdog, like I look at the other guy's team, and he's like stacked everywhere. Like I have like 5 guys on bye, then I would start Cam Newton. Just the range of outcomes for Cam is so wide. Like again, he's either QB5 or QB30. Where Cousins is always going to be kind of in that 12 to 18 range, where he's never like a downright sit. I only listed him as a sit in my article, but like it's more like temper expectations. Like he'll probably be like okay. I just don't think Cousins is going to have a massive ceiling game. Where I think Cam could easily have a massive ceiling game against the Atlanta Falcons. Hope that makes it. Hope that makes sense. Derek C. Chopped Coop, Arizona or Denver DST. Arizona is playing the Rams. Denver's playing. Who is Denver playing? God. Oh, they're playing the Lions. Oh yeah, play Denver. Yeah, you don't need to play against the Rams. Even though Matthew Stafford throws pick sixes like left or right, still go with Denver. I mean, I think it's safer against the Lions. Lankstar Outdoors. Andrew, why cut Rojo? He's a high value cut if Lenny goes down. Lankstar Outdoors? I've never said once that you should cut Ronald Jones. I apologize if I said that or I came off that way. Like, no, I mean, I think I did cut him in one league because I needed the bench spot. I think he was on his bye week. But no, Ronald Jones should be rostered in most leagues if you can stash him because he's the backup to Fournette. If anything happens to Fournette, then he would see a significant boost in playing time. So, yeah, I think that he's a solid spot. Brian Martinez, CH or Hubbard. I'll go with CH here. Like CH is such a hard guy to rank because he's like fine. He's like okay. He's on a good offense. Like run the football a little bit more. Daryl Williams, works on passing downs. So like I like CH is like just RB20 like all the time for me. But he's higher than Hubbard. Hubbard. The only thing with Hubbard is I could see Amir Abdullah working a little bit more. He could get vultured at the goal line by Cam, which is if he's just rushing, like think about it, like he has to rush for 70 yards. If he catches no passes and has 0 targets, then he gets 7 points. So there's a lot of ways where Hubbard like doesn't have a ceiling where Edwards Lair, plays on a better offense. And I think that is still like he's still the 1A in that backfield. So I would go with CH. Pat Fryermuth or Tyler Higbee, full point PPR. I'm going with Muth here. Definitely going with Fryermuth. Been solid all year long. He's been the best rookie tight end. As crazy as that sounds, we thought it was going to be Kyle Pitts, and Fryermuth was a guy you get dynasty like super late because Pitts was just out of control. He was the least talked about rookie tight end, but baby Gronk, man, he's delivering this year. So I like him more than Higbee. I got him as a top 10 tight end. Higbee is outside my top 15. Grammy Grump. Is it worth starting Claypool tonight or bank on Keenan Allen playing in full point PPR? I would play Claypool. I think he's in a good spot this week. Again, maybe you can finagle your lineup a little bit more and you can get Allen in there. But I mean, the track record of guys playing has not been good. Like most guys don't play. So that's just kind of following the numbers here. And I think that we get trapped sometimes when we jump to best case scenario. I know I did this with Jalen Hurts last week. I missed out on Taysom Hill because I was like, oh, Hurts will play. And then he didn't play. So I lost out on a QB3 performance. That could have helped me in a lot of leagues. Mister, anyone else think MVS is a sneaky play this week? Yeah, I mean, he sees a lot of air yards. Like they're looking for him downfield. He definitely has a lot of upside, but this has been his entire career. Like he's been this big downfield threat receiver. The Bears defense is not great. They have one good cornerback, really, Jalen Johnson. So and he's probably going to be on Devontae Adams. So it's just boom or bust. But I think that he's a sneaky play this week. Noah the Liberty, start to Gage, Amon Ra, Manny Sanders, AJ Green, Guyton. I'm gonna go with Gage and Amon Ra. Like guys are just coming off double-digit games of targets. Like I get that it's not always a guarantee that they do that, but why would it change? Like why is Russell Gage not going to see double-digit targets next week? Like who are they going to throw the ball to? Zacchaeus, uh, Tajay Sharp. Kyle Pitts is going to get Stephon Gilmore. Like okay, maybe not. So Gage, Amon Ra. There's no DeAndre Swift potentially. So I like Amon Ra to continue to see targets. Like that's why he saw more boost in targets because of no DeAndre Swift. So I like Amon Ra of those 3 guys or those 5 guys who listed. Stephen Coe, full point PPR, start 2 running backs, Madison, Gibson, J. Rob, Henderson, CEH. So Madison, if Cook doesn't play, Gibson, no matter what, and then CEH would be my guys that I would play. And then if Madison sits, next guy I would play would be James Robinson. Or if Cook plays, then my next guy would be James Robinson. Hey, Andrew, fan from Denmark here. Woo, let's go. Claypool over Higgins or Debo? Negative. No, can't start over those guys. Higgins and Debo are studs. I am so that guy. Yo, Andrew, who you like? Manny Sanders, Julio, or KJ Osborne? Standard scoring. Oh my God, Julio Jones. Oh man, dude. I wish I could trust Julio, and I feel like he could blow up this week, and he's just gonna tilt everyone. But I mean, he's done nothing this year, man. He's done just nothing. So I'm not gonna expect him to change. So I would probably go Osborne there, and maybe you could play Julio in another part of your lineup later on if you figure out he's healthy. But I think that Osborne is fine. Julio, I mean, this seems just kind of like a lost season for him. Eric B, good morning. If healthy, should I play Gordon this week or play safe with Hilliard, flex, spot, full point PPR? I don't really think Hilliard is really safe because Anthony Firkser is coming. Or Anthony Firkser, man. Anthony McNichols, excuse me. I think that's his name. Jeez. I don't even. McNichols, whatever. Jeremy McNichols. Oh my God, I can't get the names right of these backup Titans running backs. Jeremy McNichols is coming back, so that could hurt Dontrell Hilliard's role. Melvin Gordon, I think, is the guy you play no matter what, if he plays. Bruce Wayne, play Madison. No. I would not play Madison if Dalvin Cook is healthy and he's starting. I mean, Madison might see some work, so I'm probably going to put him in the RB30s. So if you want to check out my rankings on PFF.com, that's where they all are updated after the inactives come out. So Like, he may be like a borderline like RB3 flex play, and it's kind of just really kind of taking in the risk of, okay, if Cook is re-injured, we could see a scenario where he does have a decent game or whatever. Like, sometimes backup running backs do something. You could score a touchdown, but you're not like I'm not thrilled to get him into my lineup unless I'm like faced with Madison against I'm faced with Madison with another bunch of other backup running backs as my options. Then okay, you could probably play him in that situation, but he's obviously going to fall like outside the top 30 or outside the top 24 at least. Cal Duncan, Josh Jacobs, or Deontay Foreman. Oh my God, Josh Jacobs to the moon. Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs. All right. Josh Jacobs had like 9 targets last week. Jalen Richard is on COVID. Kenny Drake's out for the season. He's bell cow. Like, he's top 10 running back. I just got to keep ranking him higher. Just want to keep moving up the rankings because it's finally happening. Like, I thought it was going to happen last year. That's why I took him in the second round. Didn't happen. And now he's just blowing up. Josh Jacobs, league winner. Let's go. I wish I drafted Morphin. Fake JU, Darrell Williams or Dontrell Hilliard. Going to go with Darrell Williams. He had a big game against the Raiders last time he played them. To the second power, Andrew, what's up, bro? Half point PPR. If Elijah Mitchell's out, who should I start playing the flex? Barkley, Godwin, Gronk, or Knox? Godwin. God, easy. He had 17 targets last week. That one's easy. Man, this team is stacked. To the second power, your team is stacked. So, but yeah, go Godwin. Shakori Easter, 2 wide receiver spots: Deontay Johnson, CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, or Hollywood Standard League. Deontay and CeeDee Lamb. It's easy. Easy money. That's it for the questions. Feel free to leave more in. I can wax more poetic. We can check on the news and see if there's anything else up to date. But if not, I think that we can say adios to the live stream. Let's do one more quick through run of this news. Maybe we got some Dalvin Cook news or some Alexander Madison news. Checking the news. Up, Jared Goff. Jared Goff's going to take more deep shots. Oh, baby. Josh Reynolds season. Let's go. Now, I mean, it doesn't really make that much sense. I mean, they're playing the Denver Broncos, so who've been good against deep ball, so we'll see. But that's it for the news updates. We do have a couple more start sits questions here, so let's get that in here. The last one, Daryl Gerhart, the last start sit question before the fantasy football playoffs. I love it. Kyler Murray versus the Rams, Taysom Hill versus the Jets. Kyler friggin' Murray, number 1 quarterback in fantasy football. Kyler Murray is my guy. Thank you all for tuning in to the Week 14 Start Sit live stream. Again, I'm your host, Andrew Erickson. I'm on Twitter at Andrew Erickson _. Good luck to everybody this week. I hope you make it into your fantasy football playoffs, and I hope that you'll be able to join me again next week. I know that even if you're not in your playoffs, you may want to do some other things, but hey, it's always good to talk fantasy, get away for a little bit, answer some questions. I'll answer non-start sit questions. Andrew, what's your favorite food? What do you like on Tuesdays? Talk like all that stuff. I'd be more than happy to keep you guys entertained for the hour so that I'm live. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll be back next week for Week 15.